It's very much about logistics. It's very much about the opportunities that can be afforded to getting more sustainable freight transport through the use of multimodality. So how can we best use road transport? How can we best use rail transport, sea, inland waterways, and even air, okay, if that's possible, in order to ensure a minimum impact on the environment, economic impact, okay, and societal impact as well. It's very much in the context of Wales. The project obviously is funded by A4B, and obviously there's some issues associated with, for example, infrastructure in Wales, poor road infrastructure, for example, and the complexity of the industry itself, the freight transport industry, made up of a very large number of small organizations, very diffuse. And importantly as well, right at the bottom there, I mentioned that the lack of an appropriate integration platform. Okay, how can we get all these different transport organizations to work together to make best use of the transport that we have available to us, yeah, without, for example, have empty running of vehicles or half-empty running of vehicles, which is not very environmentally friendly and also is not very economic as well, okay, for those organizations. The solution that we've researched in the past, and we've also done some work already from a previous A4B program, but that was only specifically looking at road transport. Yeah, was to look at how we can use new technology, information and communication technologies, to set up like virtual consolidation centers. Okay, so not physical consolidations where you put the goods together in one place and then transport them in full vehicles to the appropriate location, but to use electronic media, digital media, okay, to make sure you can plan and schedule your resources so they're fully utilized, okay? And the idea there is to integrate better, okay, your customer base, your shippers, the manufacturers, let's say, who want goods to be delivered to customers, and the carriers, okay? So that's very much called vertical integration, but also horizontal integration. For example, we have lots of different carriers, okay, doing perhaps the same thing. You know, while we all doing the same thing, perhaps we can consolidate our loads from different carriers, different logistics companies together. So the idea was very much about looking at these electronic logistics marketplaces, and Yingli's work highlighted 4 different types, okay, which enable, okay, 4 generic types, which enable different types of collaboration. Okay, so it's not just the technology, it's how about organizations can work together. And when I say different types of collaboration, that means we don't actually have to need partnerships all the time. We don't have to work closely together all the time. But there's different forms of collaboration, different degrees of collaboration we can look at. So the idea behind this project is very much to move away from just looking at road transport, but look at other modes of transport as well. Target companies, well, a variety of different target companies. Retailers, people who want the goods delivered to them. Manufacturers, yeah. Primary producers, so here's just an example of timber, one of the market sectors in Wales. And again, obviously carriers, okay, transport, freight transport, so obviously road, rail, and by sea. And an important hub, important coupling point in supply chains is ports. And one of our existing companies have already signed up to this is Allied British Ports, Associated British Ports, ABP, here in South Wales. So we very much, so whether you're interested in inbound logistics or outbound logistics, this is the kind of project for you. Critically as well, we've got a 2-year timescale, and when we recruit these companies, they're going to form a special interest group. We're looking for 20+ companies to form part of our special interest groups, which will form the core of the project, the knowledge transfer project. They'll be involved in missions. We're going to be looking at different examples, good practice examples throughout Europe, and those special interest groups will go and visit them. So they'll be looking at what knowledge already exists, and we'll be transferring that knowledge through the media I show there. So we're going to target lots of different companies, but at different levels. So right at the top there, right at the top there, you know, through websites, through booklets, conferences, targeting hundreds of companies. But as you go down this pyramid, inverted pyramid, okay, we're getting more and more focused. So we're going to offer ultimately one-to-one consultations with organizations, whatever type of organization you are. And we're looking at the knowledge transfer partnerships. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but I'm sure there'll be some information available from various colleagues in research in RACD who can tell you about that. But that's where we're looking at joint funding between public funding grants, public grants, and from private funds as well, from industry itself. So we're looking at setting up KTP proposals and actually get involved in KTP supervisions as well with organizations. Okay, so you can see more and more focused. So wide dissemination at the top, and then more focused, in-depth help for organizations later on. As an example, again, just to carry on this Tesco example, we've done some various amounts of work with Tesco. And one of my colleagues here is Dr. Andrew Potter, who has spent some time with them on this particular project, and other colleagues as well. And this is where, again, you can use new technologies in terms of information and communication technologies to help make things more efficient, more sustainable, smoother in the supply chain. And the problem that we were looking at there is the store replenishment systems, okay, in the retail outlets. They were too responsive, creating a lot of volatility for the distribution network, okay, and for the suppliers, causing big headaches in terms of how they manage their inventory, their production planning, their transport resources, etc. The research looked at developing models, okay, computer and models, using this new technology, and it led to an impact on inventory availability and transport, yeah, in terms of reduction of inventory, ensuring higher availability and better utilization of transport. So we tested the solution, and it showed that it did work. Okay. Again, what industry thought, a piece of work that was critical to the business. Finally, just there, some of our other business offerings. Again, my colleague Richard Barton can help you with that information. Again, knowledge transfer partnerships he can tell you about if you want, and again, different formats of working with industry. So as a summary, okay, research, highly relevant industry relevant research, excellence in logistics and operations management within Cardiff Business School, but again, jointly working with other disciplines as well throughout the university, and knowledge transfer, primarily to make our supply chains more resilient, less vulnerable to disturbances, and more friendly to the environment and society. Any more information, while Ying Lee's on maternity leave, Dr. Andrew Potter can help you out with this particular A4B project. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Mo.